Hey, this is Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Now, this video, I wasn't gonna make it. I had some things to do, but this one's gonna be very important. And I urge you to share this with any man that you know that needs some help. Cause I got contacted by someone, and they told me that they're in the process. They've lost a lot during divorce. It's not that they can't recover, it's that they've lost the will to live, and that they seriously just need some answers, and they need to hear a different perspective, and they just need something because they're potentially in the moment of probably, blowing their brains out, probably taking themselves out. So, I was gonna hold this video back for a while, but this video is gonna be very different compared to my other videos, because, hopefully the man who emailed me, whose name I won't mention, sees this, because this who knows, this might help him out. Because to get an email, a lot of people don't understand that the male suicide rate is extremely high. So let me get to the video. This video is about divorce, and how it's not about that, we all know the statistics. Women file over 80% of the divorce is done by women. But let me tell you something. Now, I watch a lot of MGTOW channels, Coach Greg Adams, Kenji MGTOW, Donovan Sharp, Better Bachelor, Anthony Spade, Sunrise Hoodie, Sandman, Red Pill on steroids. Now he's Black Pill on steroids, I think. And I watched Red Pill Elite. I watch a lot of MGTOW channels, and Sydney MGTOW. I watch a lot of them. Young Man's Daily Red Pill. Humble Hermit. I watch a lot of them, but this is something that it takes a lot of, and I'm not disrespecting any of these guys, because I follow them and I respect them, and we all arrive to the answers at a different rate or different perspective. But I'm gonna tell you guys this, man. It's not about blaming. It's not about the woman filing for divorce 80% of the time. That's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that over 80%, in fact, over 90% of the time, it's a man abandoning himself. You see, now, what a lot of men need to understand is that, marriage, moving in with a woman, engagement, all that, especially with the laws and how everything is biased and, anti-male when it comes to the marriage laws and the family court and all that, you have to understand that for a man to volunteer for this type of situation, it requires that he abandons himself. He abandons having his best interest. You have to understand, before the woman filed for divorce, that wasn't the most damage that was done. The most damage that was done was that a man agreed and abandoned his best interest. That's what marriage, that's what moving in, under these legal circumstances, that's what it requires. A lot of MGTOW channels focus on, and a lot of, Red Pill, a lot of, Rolla Tomasi's, all these big channels, they focus on, well, she divorced you, you get robbed. No, it has nothing to do with the woman. It has to do with this. That blame on the woman for divorce is a way of a man trying to cope with the fact that you abandoned your best interest. You abandoned yourself. And it is, as a man, the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is to admit when you set yourself up. You can't blame the woman for divorcing you when you swore, when you get on one knee with all the stuff you know about the laws and all that. When you get on a knee and you give the ring and all that, you swore to abandon yourself, abandon your self-preservation, and place your entire fate in her hands. So when she divorces you, or, takes your children for child support or whatever, you agreed to that ahead of time. You agreed to this. You agreed to this once you swore and you signed the contract. You agreed to all this. You have to understand that as a man, the biggest issue and the way to cope, the way, I used to think we're expendable by society's rules. No. It's not society that sees us as the most expendable. It took me a while to learn that, because if men were so expendable, then how come society, all the hard labor, all the jobs that, your construction working, all these other jobs that keep the world moving, that are majority men, you know what I'm saying? Why are they not stopped? Why are they not, put at a complete halt? It's because society, as it still does, still values a man's effort and a man's work ethic to, the highest level, as it has always done. It's that, and unlike my other videos, I'm staying straightforward on the subject. I usually rant a little about the government and all that, but I'm going to keep it simple. On a Sandman tip, I'm going to keep this extremely digestible, like some fast food order. You have to understand that as a man, with all the stuff and all the way the laws are set up, you have to abandon your self-interest, your health, you have to abandon and make yourself expendable. That's what, once you get on the knee and you give that ring, you give that high level of commitment, when you know all the laws are stacked up on you, you decided that you're expendable. And the way to cope, and this is the darkest aspect of the red pill and MGTOW community. The darkest aspect is men trying to cope with the fact that they made their decision. As much as, you watch a lot of the community, the manosphere, talk about, women aren't accountable. We're the ones. Those men who got married, you have to be accountable for your decisions. That's the only way you can move on. But what's spread amongst the community, and is that men using women. I used to follow, MGTOW's freedom. He talked about how he gave his wife everything. He gave her everything she asked. And I watched You know what I'm saying? I watched the MGTOW monk. You know, he gave everything. He supported her and all that. That's what you swore to do. You swore when you abandoned your self-interest and your self-preservation, you gave her, you made her the priority. You made her life, her existence above yours. You made yourself expendable. You know, a lot of other creators, like, won't tell you this. You know what I mean? Because they themselves don't know this. You know, they themselves don't know and are still using, the woman divorcing you, taking your children and all that. They're using that as a crutch. It's an excuse to avoid the fact that you as a man have to be accountable for your decisions. You made a choice. Right now, it's been that way since they made no fault divorce, and I'm not gonna rant too long. The government's main interest was, can men with no fault divorce and everything to lose, and can men make themselves so expendable? Can they abandon their self-preservation for marriage, for moving in together, for living? And then the government, what the government does, like it always does. Remember, the government is your fellow man. It's a group of men that came together. You know that old saying, you give an inch, they'll take a mile. Well, if you give a mile, they'll take a freaking state. You give them a state, they'll take a nation. You give them a nation, they'll take an entire, you know what I'm saying? It just keeps expanding. So the whole goal was, how expendable will a man make himself for a relationship, you know? And another thing, remember, even in the 60s and all that, men had the option to travel, to take flight, go to other countries where the laws aren't so against a man having authority over his family, protecting his wife and children and all that. I'm not going to stick too long to that. I'll make a different video, but you have to understand that before the divorce, and this is to help you heal, before the divorce, you chose to make yourself preservation, your existence, you made it expendable. You swore to that woman, till death do you part, you shall serve her. You shall, till death do you part. Remember, she didn't engage the marriage. She didn't propose to you. You proposed to her. You proposed to her knowing that, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to use checkers as an example, chess. You chose to participate in a rigged game where the queen on the board literally has the board on her side. You know what I'm saying? You're just the king. So if you were to go against the queen and she has the entire board on her side, the board you're playing on her side, how can you win? You know, what you men have to do, and it's the only answer, you have to look in the mirror. You have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, how could you abandon your self-preservation, your existence, your importance to who you are, to become so expendable? Because you have to understand, majority of people who get married and all that, it's not a shotgun marriage. And the other thing, I'm going to go a little deeper, is this, and why you chose this. Think about this. When you get married, you have a big wedding to invite family members that live from afar, her side of the family, strangers. You know what I'm saying? A gathering with strangers versus those that are close to you. A true marriage will be like a Thanksgiving dinner. You invite those close to you, People from afar that want to come, they come out of the goodness of their heart. They wanna see y'all come together. Instead, you get married and you spend over 50 grand, over 250 grand. You start your marriage with an expense and in some cases debt. You just established that everything about this major event in this relationship is about how much money I'm spending and how much I'm doing to impress you and give you that title of married woman, whatever. It has nothing to do with us building a family, staying close to the people we know and trust. Because if it was about that, you wouldn't have a big wedding. You'd have an event at your home and you would invite the closest people to you. So that marriage, when it's made and it happens, it's built around trust. It's not built around some stupid, you know what I'm saying, amount of expense and debt. You have to understand, you chose this. You know what I'm saying? You got to accept that accountability. Not a lot of marriages happen like a shotgun marriage where they put a gun to your head and you got to marry this person or die. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to, as a man, and like I said, I watch a lot of these MGTOW channels, Red Pill, Manosphere. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Red Pill Elite. You know, he changed his name from MGTOW Elite. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be pressured for that. But like I was saying, you as a man chose this. The only way to grow from this is to accept accountability. The truth is this: the women aren't the most entitled. They're not the most entitled. We men are. You know what I'm saying? You chose to get on your knee and you chose to abandon your self-preservation, your leadership, your authority to her will. So if she wills that we're getting a divorce, I'm going to go get as much money as I can, alimony, all this, child support, all that. You chose and said this was okay because you abandoned yourself. And you don't, that's why a lot of men are, after divorce, after long relationships, child support, that's why a lot of men are suicidal because you can't live with yourself anymore. You can't live knowing that you, the greatest traitor to your existence, was you. You can't admit it. And it's harder. It gets harder and you try to dodge it. You try to be angry at a woman's choice to divorce you. You try to find anger in that. You try to use that anger as a distraction from the fact that when you look in the mirror, when you go to sleep and you're just with your thoughts, you realize that you betrayed yourself. You abandoned yourself. You know, I'm gonna go a little lighter. Think about it. When you were a little boy, you know what I'm saying, before you became a man and all that, you got interest in sexual relations and relationships and all that. You know what you were interested in? You know what you were interested in? You were interested in how much fun you were going to have, how much you were going to enjoy yourself, chasing your goals, sharing time with your friends. You were interested in your main interest was your self-preservation, your entertainment. Notice you. That was what you were as a younger man, before you were a man, before your balls dropped, became, sexually active. You valued yourself, you know what I mean? And you valued yourself because think about it. We have an entire globe to our, to access. We could take flights. So, if you can't get in a relationship here, if it's really that important for you to have a child and a wife or, something like that, you would go overseas, you would do your research. But instead, it was easier for you to abandon who you are, and swear loyalty, or as the medieval times would say, swear fealty to that woman who's got the government behind her. This video to me, man, is painful because somebody contacted me, emailed me, they're at a point where they might take their life or something like that. But I just had to tell them the honest truth. The honest truth is no one is more entitled, has a sense of entitlement, has a sense of lack of accountability than us. It took me a while to arrive at this moment. I searched inwards. I searched deep into my own mind, look into my own mind to check things out. And I realized, man, and I spoke to somebody I know, a wise man, a man at some points wiser than me in certain aspects, like life, you always gonna meet somebody who's wiser than you in some points. So he told me, man, no one forced you to do it. But you know who forced you to do it? You did. You tossed yourself aside. That's why when men get divorced, they can no longer live with themselves because it's so painful. It's so painful to know that they were so weak. They were so weak to abandon who they were, abandon their safety and self-preservation to make themselves so expendable. And the only way to heal from that is to look at that. Look at it as I call myself hold the truth hostage because, I figured out, man, you get, even if the truth hurts you, the person saying it, And, you gotta say it. And another thing is, I'm gonna tell you, when you find the truth, as I've found it, when you just look at things as how they are, and you don't just look at the surface and the easy. Because here's the thing, here's the major flaw of the manosphere. A lot of men up here like to talk about women are followers and so on. You know, no, man. How many men have just followed that angry, angry, angry at women type thing? What? How many more excuses can I make to blame her, blame her, blame her for my choices? Here's the thing, man. A woman is a human being. Like you and me. They have their choices. They have their decisions. You know what I'm saying? A relationship is about you trusting that this person will repeat the same routine over and over again. But when you know how the law works and that person isn't held to the same level of accountability legally as you, the only way you can jump into this is, and this is the biggest weakness and strength of all men, is that we are very imaginative. We are very creative. You gotta look at it like this. Women put on makeup to create an illusion of who they are or whatever. But we put on a mental delusion. You know what I'm saying? This is how it should be. I should get married. I was nice to this person. They should treat me this way. I should have a happy ending. We become mentally delusional. And we men, like we've always been, we follow our goal through. We put our life, body, and soul into our goal. So a lot of men have to understand you've put your whole life, you've put your life, all your aspirations on this delusion. This delusion you have of a perfect family, because it's a delusion because it requires you to ignore all the laws that are out there that are available. That's against you. So you've put this entire mental delusion. And then once you try to get out of that mental delusion, because you're so focused on the goal of that delusion, the easiest person you're going to strike at is the woman here. You're going to target the woman for your blame, for your lack of accountability, your lack of accountability of your choices. It don't matter if you were in love. It don't matter if you could see yourself with that person. None of that matters, because all that what comes first is you making the choice to follow through. You know what I'm saying? You made the choice to follow through. And instead of accepting that accountability of your choices, you moved the delusion up. It wasn't my fault that I made these choices. It was her fault. It was her fault that, that I made these choices. She controlled my body and my mind for me to get on one knee and swear loyalty to her. Because notice, what do knights do? What do knights do when the king, when the king knights them? He gets on one knee. He pledges loyalty to the king from till life and death. You know what I'm saying? And if he doesn't, he betrayed the king. That's what you did. You swore loyalty to this woman. You swore loyalty to making yourself expendable to her will. You know what I mean? You swore loyalty to that. And when it happens that her will is to take advantage of that, you know what I'm saying? Take advantage of that and divorce you, get all the money, get everything she can get, you can't accept it. You know what I mean? The biggest problem in the whole red pill community, the manosphere community, MGTOW, is the delusion. The delusion that you don't have your own free will. You don't have free will and you didn't make your decisions. You know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of videos, watch a lot of people. I didn't arrive to this for a while. But once I've accepted that you make your choices, what's that cliche saying? You make your bed, you sleep in. You know what I mean? The consequence of you abandoning yourself is, and making yourself expendable to someone's will, is they will take action. You can't blame this woman for when she divorced you. She has no emotion. She tries to take everything she can because guess what? You were worse. You made yourself so expendable that, you know what I'm saying, you swore to give a person everything above yourself, above your self-preservation. Society, it took me a while to arrive to this. Because, I got comments on YouTube. You could check the history where I didn't think like this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't arrive to this point. And then the deeper I got into, as David Carroll would say, deeper I got into that rabbit hole, the more I realized. I started asking a question, okay? I'm in the rabbit hole. Who went into this rabbit hole? I went into this rabbit hole. Why did I go into this rabbit hole? It was my choice. So you gotta look at marriage and everything like that. You gotta accept the accountability. Now to move on from it, now you know what you've done. You need to go on a path of healing and on a path of swearing and regaining trust from yourself. You need to regain trust from yourself that you won't abandon yourself once you get a hard on. Once you see some chick that's pretty, once you see something, you won't put the delusion in your mind that your goals outweigh the truth that's in front of you, that the whole legal system is, when it comes to relationships, is broken. You put that delusion. Remember, women wear makeup, you know what I'm saying? And makeup requires makeup requires that they put on this stuff over their face. we wear a mental delusion. You never run out of mental delusion. You never do. So, man, I'll say this. It's been a long video. Share it. I hope it helps you. I hope you take some time out to regain trust from yourself. You have to accept that you made yourself expendable. It's going to be a long journey to heal, to trust yourself again, to test yourself, you know. I hope this helped, and I hope that guy that emailed me, hope he's doing better. Hope he doesn't take his life. Hope he's doing better. Hope he's doing better. Well, this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we would hold it hostage and not negotiate with lies. Have a good one.